Guys, so today we are going to discuss coin combinations to PP ka the fourth question. And as I said, it was very simple, but there is a slightly more theory part here, right? So in the coin combination one, I didn't actually mm, thought about that, but actually in coin combination one, if I see that if I interchange these two loops, this I is equal to 1, I less than equal to x, and this if I just twist these two loops, it would result me into a wrong answer, and we would see why is that so. But that was just a actual, basically just the theory. So let's see how we would going to be solved combination two. So we are being given these coins. We want to make a desired sum, but we want to find the number of distinct ordered ways. So in the previous question, I was not actually I was allowed to make like repetitive things like 2 plus 2 plus 5, 2 plus 5 plus 2 were considered different. So we took into account that we took account uh, we actually submitted in that way. But how we are going to solve this question, right? So this is not that straightforward, but let's just see how we are going to fill our the idea would remain same. The idea would just remain the same. I would construct a DP array, right? And DPX would be the number of ordered ways for X, and my recurrence relation would be the same, right? So if everything is same, how is it different? The solution should be different. The way in which we fill our DP array would be different. So in the previous question, what we did was we filled the array like this. We filled the array this for I is equal to 0 to x, for j is equal to 0 when, right? And then we just made this. I'm not considering the condition, but okay, let's consider it. X minus ai is greater than 0, greater than equal to 0, and here it should be aj, not ai, right? So we were traversing like this. So let's see a dry run approach of this and how our array is filling actually. So if we consider if we see clearly, we know that it is filling like we are creating all the combinations of n to fill a particular x. So if it is not clear, I will repeat the statement. We are what we are doing is that we are seeing all the possible combinations of all the elements for a particular x, right? So let's see how the approach is working. So in the so let us take the example given in the test example also. So x is equal to 9, and so initially the array would be like 1, 2, 3, right? And I would iterate from first one, and the zeroth element would represent 1, because there is one way to have nothing, right? You just do nothing. So now I would be iterating 0 to n, and if x minus aj is greater than equal to 0, so I am at my current position here. I is equal to 1. 1 minus 2 is not greater than 0. 1 minus 3 and 1 minus 5 are also not greater than 0. So I do nothing this position. But 2 minus 2 is equal to 0 here. So what I would do, I would just make this is equal to 1 plus 0, which is 1, right? And then I would traverse with 3 and 5. 3 and 5 would result in a negative index, hence I do nothing. So when so on 3, I know that 3 minus 2 is 1, right? So it is greater than 0. So dpx is equal to dpx plus dp1. So dp1 is currently 0, right? So our solution, sorry, dp1, right? So here, so it would be 0 for now. And when I get to 3, then it would be 1, right? So we can see that number of ways to making 3 1, because 0 plus 0 is 0. So when we consider 2, here we first consider 2, then 2 plus 0 is equal to 0. 0 plus 0 is equal to 0, so we fill nothing. But when we jump to 3 for j is equal to 1, then 3 minus 3 is 0, which is 1. The dp0 is 1. So 1 plus 0 is equal to 1. We filled 1 here, right? For x is equal to 4, what we fill is that uh, uh, x is equal to 4, we first considered 2, then dp2, so 0 1 2, dp2 is 1, right? dp2 is 1, and we first change it to 1, and then we jump to 3, and dp3 0 1 3. There is one way of making dp3, but 4 minus 3 is 1, right? So there is 0 ways to make 1. So there is no change to when we consider 3, because when we consider 3 and x is equal to 4, then 4 minus 3 would be 1, and dp1 is equal to 0. 0 plus something is something, right? So when I get to 5, 5 minus 2 is 3, right? 0 1 2 3, 3 is 1. So I change from 0 to 0 plus 1, which is 1. Then I consider 3, and I change from then my x minus aj would be 2, right? 5 minus 3 is equal to 2, and 3 2 plus so dp2 is 1, right? So 1 plus 1 is 2. So when I get to 5, 5 minus 5 is 0, and 0 is 1, dp0 is 1. So I change from 2 to 3, right? So you can see how I am working here, right? I have 5 ways, are 2 plus 3. I have 3 ways to create 5, 5 and 3 plus 2. How 3 plus 2? Because I was you can see how I managed to create two different like to count these two things, which if we if we consider ordered are same, but if we consider non-ordered, then they are different. So how will we able to count the different order? This was because we are iterating from 0 to n, and we are calculating all the possible combinations from 3 plus 2 and 2 plus 3, right? That is why we are considered these thing to twice. It is a very important point, because in the final solution I just have to make this down and this up, and here would be the answer. But understanding part is more important to this question, right? So you could see that how I am considering different orders here. But if I consider all combinations of x for every I, right? If I consider all combinations of x for every I, then our order, then we would consider actually distinct orders only. We would be considering ordered ways only. So let's see the dry run approach of this also. I didn't complete the dry run approach of this because I think why the ordering is happening, why ordering is not happening here is actually clear to you, because ordering was not happening because we were considering 3 plus 2 and 2 plus 3 differently. But if we consider this one, initially our array would look like 0 0 0 and 0, and we would be running this approach as well. So we are considering all x for each I. So for 2, I would consider this. This would be changed to 1. I can also make a sum of 4. I'm not actually getting to all x because it would require time, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and 9. We know that 2 would be contributing to 4, 2, 6, and 8, right? It can contribute to all these four things only. When I get to 3, how would it contribute? First, it would contribute to 3, right? It would change from 0 to 1. And then it would also consider to 5, right? So let's see how. So 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 5. Here it is. So dp 5. Now I can see that when x minus aj, so 5 minus 3 would be 2. So our dp2 is currently 1, right? So I would change it to 1, right? So now I have just one way to fill it, but we know that there are two ways. But we know that, but for now, we have only one way, 2 plus 3, because we haven't considered 5 only. And now I won't be visiting 2 again, because 2 was visited once. So now you can see why ordering is not happening, because I am considering only one index and not returning to it. That's why ordering is not happening. If I consider if basically ordering would happen if I consider the element again and again. So if I am not considering the element again and again, ordering would not happen. I think you might have understood the crux of the problem. Let's iterate to 5 now. I know that 6 would be like 2, and 9 would also have 1 only, right? And when I jump to 5, then our fifth would be from 1 to 2, because 5 minus 5 is 0. So dp0 plus dpx. So dpx was currently 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. So there are now only two ways to consider 2 plus 3 and 5. There is no 3 plus 2 rule now, because we are not considering 3 again now. No, neither 2. Right? So I hope the video is the solution to this is clear to you. Let's get into the code. The code is pretty like exactly same. It's just these two loops. The first, for those who haven't watched the coin combination one, I would just discuss the code. DP, I create a DP array of size x, and then I iterate from I is equal to 0 to n. Then I iterate from j is equal to 1 to x, and here is a DP relation, and yes, and the answer would be dpx percentage mod, right? Hope that this approach is clear to you why we are considering ordered ways here, because we are not considering the particular index again, right? So with this, let's end this video, and a little spoiler to removing digits. You are given an integer n on each root. You may subtract it from any one digit number. Yeah, yeah. So this is pretty straightforward actually, because you know it would actually not require much knowledge, but it is actually very straightforward. And yeah. So let's see in the next video. This, but I would really hope that you are enjoying this video series. Till then, bye bye.